What's up, guys? Welcome to Go Be Great Fitness. This is my first interview, so if it's a little rough, just, hang with me. But this is Shahir. He's my powerlifting coach, so I'm really excited to interview him about powerlifting, the ins and outs, and how he got to it. So we're just going to jump right into it, and I want to know, he used to be a bodybuilder, so how did you go from bodybuilding to powerlifting?
Bodybuilding would be a very loose definition. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So in 2016, I competed in December for men's physique. And then when I got done with the show, I didn't know what to work out. Like for an entire year, when you have a goal, every workout counts. You have something you're working towards.
Right.
And then like the first 3 months of 2017, I was working out and I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like, it just makes no sense. So then I met this skinny little Asian dude at the gym, just like the majority of powerlifters out there. Just kidding. And homie was repping 405 at 160 pounds. So I was like, how are you doing this? This is really super impressive. And he goes, oh, I do powerlifting. And at first I was like, what is powerlifting? I thought he just made that word up.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, how about this? Let me just start training for strength. I want to get my numbers up in the squat, the bench, the deadlift, and at that time, curls. I really wanted to curl like 60-pound dumbbells. Right? Curls for the girls.
60 pounds, wow.
And at that point in time, I was like 155 pounds. So that would have been a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I started training just heavier, didn't have a method or anything, just tried to max out every single day.
Okay.
I would not recommend that.
Okay.
Would not recommend that. And then my friend at the time, who's now my current boss, he was like, hey, let's compete together in a powerlifting meet.
Oh.
And I was like, sure, why not? So spent the next 6 months spent the next 6 months training, and then did my first meet. So that's my intro to powerlifting.
So that was what meet was that?
That was May 5th.
May 5th.
Yeah, so Cinco de Mayo, East Texas Open in Beaumont. That was my first meet.
So how was it? Like, how do you describe?
It was
everything from like prep to the meet.
Okay, so I prepped myself for this meet, which was the stupidest thing I've ever done. I had no knowledge of it. I literally was maxing out every Friday to try to increase my there was no method. It was just
on all 3 lifts.
On all 3 lifts. I had like 3 SBD days, but at the time I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I started getting really beat up. Like knees were hurting just because I was squatting so much. Also, I went through this phase where I thought if I squatted for 30 days straight, my squat would get bigger. Okay. Which it did. I added 50 pounds to my squat, but my knees would also swell. So again, I'm doing this, solo. Didn't know what I was doing. I competed in the junior division. Got first place at my first meet, which was awesome. And then after that, I started spending a little bit more time in researching the method behind powerlifting, in terms of like RPE and RIR and
what's RIR?
Reps in reserve. So that's the difference. So RPE is rate of perceived exertion.
Right.
So that's on a scale of 1 to 10. How hard was that?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times there's a huge misconception where that should feel like you had, like if it's an RPE 8, that means you got 2 more reps left in you. That's RIR.
Oh.
That's reps in reserve. Those are 2 completely different systems.
Okay.
Yeah. So one's based off of percentages, the other's based on something else. But yeah, so that was my intro to powerlifting, and that was how I trained like an idiot leading up to my first meet. Right.
So you didn't get hurt or anything? You didn't actually have any injuries leading up?
No, my first injury was at PowerFest, so I didn't have any injuries.
Just recently?
Yeah, just a little tear.
Jeez.
No injuries leading up to it. I wasn't doing anything stupid. I wasn't overloading excessively. Okay. Everything I did was within the realm of reason.
Okay, just not like as efficient as it could have been?
Yeah, not efficient at all.
Okay. So after that happened, you decided to get a coach? Did you take some time off?
No, so my second meet, I still didn't get a coach, but I took 2 months off of like actually training for a meet. It was like an off-season type thing, and I just did research. I watched lots of videos, I watched lots of documentaries, read a lot of books, watched a lot of listened to a lot of podcasts about different styles of training, different methodologies. Then like early 2018, I found Steffi Cohen with Hybrid, and I was like, that is badass. So I started picking and I don't agree with a lot of training styles. Okay. But some training styles I really like, so I just kind of mixed and matched, found what worked best for me. I'm not one who works good with a lot of volume. I just like to go heavy with like 3 or 4 rest days, and that's what worked for me. So then I competed in Winter Games January of this year, and I got 3rd place in the junior division. But it was still pretty awesome. Still no injuries, and that's when I was like, okay, I need to start practicing on more people. because what works for me, or like I became, so my biggest problem is I become really closed-minded before I became a coach.
Okay.
Or if it's my way or the highway, or if it works for me, it should work for you.
Oh.
So that's when I was like, okay, how about let me start training with different people to see how different things react and then implement them to my own training.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So like, my meet's coming up. Thinking back to your first meet, what can you tell me? Like, because like I'm not nervous yet or anything, but like, were you nervous? When did it hit? How did you deal with it?
My first meet, I was nervous about 3 weeks out after we did our openers, and like the fatigue accumulated, so like things weren't moving the way they were supposed to, which is normal, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. You know, that self-doubt creeps in. But one of my friends told me, don't let self-doubt get to you. You've already busted your ass for 3 months or 4 months.
Yeah.
Right? There's the 10,000 hour rule where if you do something for 10,000 hours, you master it.
Right.
I'm sure you've done 10,000 reps on squats.
I hope so.
Right? So let your intuition take over.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing. Biggest advice I can give you.
Yeah. Did you go into the meet like thinking like, if I don't win this, I'm gonna be really mad, or were you just like?
I went into the meet hoping I wouldn't puke in front of the judges.
Oh wow!
Because as you know, that's my biggest thing. I wanted to just get 9 for 9. I wanted to not miss a lift. If I placed, that would be awesome. But I didn't have any specific goals. I just wanted, like, my first meet was just let me test the water, see how it goes. I had no intention of placing or anything along those lines.
Right.
But,
and then you did. Great. I think that's the cool part about powerlifting is like, either way, even if you don't like win, you can still beat a current max. You can still like, it's really versus you. Like, you just want to get 9 for 9. You know, don't worry about everyone else.
That's exactly what powerlifting is.
Matter.
Nobody cares if you place or not, right? The one thing you went to PowerFest.
That's true.
Right?
Who pays attention?
It doesn't matter who's winning. The moment you step on stage, everyone's screaming.
Yeah,
regardless of
just make it.
Exactly. Everyone wants to see you succeed. And the coolest thing with powerlifting is it's not about whether you win or lose. It's just you peak for a meet, break your PRs, and you reset your numbers, and you just train again. And that's exactly what it is. All it is for you to reset your program.
I think that's awesome. Okay, so with all of this, so you started working out with more people and like getting their stuff. So how did you switch to coaching? Like how many people, because I hit you up because you knew about, like I know you know about a lot about powerlifting, but like who was your first client and how did that happen?
So I didn't have, you're my first actual, or you're my second client that I've actually led to a meet.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Before I was, like my training method besides powerlifting is like a lot of HIIT training mixed or interspersed with lots of heavy lifting. Right? You know all about that. So circuits. And I started noticing that all of my clients not only were getting leaner, but they were getting super strong. And I was like, okay, so let me see if anybody wants to do powerlifting with me. So one of my clients, and this is funny, I love Jeff, by the way, he's probably going to be seeing this. So he's in his mid-40s, never really, like, you know, old college football guy, went to Baylor, did all that stuff. So he had he had some experience lifting weights, but nothing concrete. Okay. So I asked him one time, I was like, hey man, do you want to do a powerlifting meet with me? And he said, no dude, I'm a little old, I don't want to get embarrassed. And I had texted this to him at night, and I remember he went on a date with his wife that same night, and she saw the text messages on his phone, so she responded to me saying, he's doing it, I'm signing him up, he doesn't have a choice.
Oh my god!
So that was awesome. That's how I got my first powerlifting client. He got first place in his meet. It was awesome, and then even at mid-40s, he hit PRs across the board. So that was freaking awesome.
That is amazing.
But yeah, and then I got in touch with like the Firethorn crew. We just started bouncing ideas off each other. A couple of those guys were training with a coach. I hired a coach for PowerFest the last 3 months out. I hired Ozzy. Yeah. Okay. But that was for a couple of different reasons. And what ended up happening was I took what he did, I took what everyone else did. We just shared our programs, found what we liked, threw them together, and then completely went off program every week. But don't do as I say.
You tend to do that.
I'm a little headstrong in that sense, yeah, which I shouldn't.
Were you supposed to bench 295 yesterday?
No.
Didn't think so. I thought that didn't look right.
Yeah, but I got it, and I still did my back offset. So like, I don't sacrifice I will get all my volume done.
Okay. So you're still gonna do.
I still do everything. No, I don't
anything.
replace anything. I still do what my coach tells me. I mean, if you're paying a coach, get fucking listen to him. Okay. Right? So I get all that done, but if I have something in the tank, I'm just gonna.
All right.
That's the fun part, right?
I mean, that's what happens when you become a coach and you start getting more comfortable.
Right.
I feel like I'm more of a
by the book.
Stick to whatever you say. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, So as far as pros and cons to powerlifting, obviously there's
There's a lot of
yeah. But let's actually start with cons, and then we'll end with
Okay.
pros.
So the biggest con of powerlifting is it is super boring, right?
Oh. Dude.
So
in general?
meet day leading up to a meet, it's awesome. You're hitting PRs. You're completely in the zone. When off season comes and you have 6 months of training, because you only do 2 meets a year. Like your body cannot handle more than that. Maybe 3 or 4, but that's like extreme.
Right.
6 months of doing nothing but squats, bench, and deadlifts gets incredibly boring.
Okay.
And the way powerlifting works in terms of fitness and fatigue, you don't have the opportunity to do much else. You can't go do a marathon. You can't go do this because it affects your training because
Right.
everything has to be closely monitored. So that would be one con. Another one is injuries do tend to happen. This is a sport where you're overloading your muscles over and over again. Tendinitis, bursitis, you're gonna tear something. You're gonna hurt. Like I have yet to meet a powerlifter who is not in pain. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
I mean, yeah. Like,
Exactly. Everything's gonna be hurting, but for those 9 minutes that you're up on the platform, it's worth it.
is that 9 lifts?
9 minutes, 1
Okay,
minute,
I'm looking
9
at
minutes,
this.
yeah.
Okay.
But
Cool.
yeah, those are the 2 biggest ones.
So that's actually not as. Those aren't the cons I expected.
So I mean, the reason I switched to powerlifting was mindset as well. The community in powerlifting. So this is more of the pros part.
Yeah. Go
The community in powerlifting is super supportive. If you need help, everyone's got you, right? If you want someone to look at your program, they will look at your program and give you input. With like physique and bodybuilding, it's a super. And I don't mean to knock on anybody that does this. Like
Disclosure.
yeah, just like full disclosure, it's freaking awesome. Like I didn't have the dedication to do it again. But I know what you guys went through, but it's a super selfish sport, right? It's all about me. You get in a really negative, for me in general, I got into a really bad headspace.
Okay.
Everything revolved around the gym. There was no work-life balance. It was, everything revolved around the Stairmaster or the Smith machine or whatever the hell it was, right? With powerlifting, I can go out with my friends. I can go out and eat whatever the hell I want. Still manage to, right? And then still manage to maintain a decent physique.
Yeah.
Not super ripped, but you're not fat, right? You know.
Fluff it.
Exactly. That's one thing I don't want to do with powerlifting. And everyone is just generally more accepting. It doesn't matter what your body type is. It doesn't matter what your orientation is. It doesn't matter what your gender is. Under the bar, we're all the same.
I have noticed that, like, especially because my mom actually asked me this the other day. She was wondering if, because I'm powerlifting, if my stomach was getting more like distant. Like, I don't know what it was. She was like, is it changing the way your stomach is? And I was like, no, I'm changing the way I carry myself. I don't care as much about being like
It doesn't matter.
sucked in because I'm constantly bracing against a belt. And I know I'm not
You're
like
not
fat, so I don't
right.
really care to like carry myself
Exactly.
super like sucked in like I used to. So I think that's a good thing,
Right.
that I'm not walking. And I see that with like when I went to PowerFest, that's what I noticed. I was like, these girls just,
They don't care.
I mean, it's great. Like, it's great. Everyone's like they embrace their body because they know what their body can
right.
do.
Exactly.
So
And
it's
nobody judges. Like, you might see a skinny girl and you're like, oh, why'd you do powerlifting? But then she outlifts you. And
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
oh, shit.
It's like,
Exactly. It
can't
doesn't matter
knock
what you
that.
look like, you will never know. You will never know.
And same thing on the other end of the spectrum, you know, the bigger people pull. I mean,
I would hope so if you have that kind of mass.
yeah, like,
Like,
geez, strong numbers.
Yep.
Like, it's crazy.
Doesn't matter what you look like, it's all about performance.
Okay, so those are the pros. So yeah, community and everything, like, I think that's great. And I've gotten in pretty good shape from
You got stronger and you got leaner.
yeah,
And
right?
put on a lot of muscle.
So that's been good.
Exactly.
Can't argue with that. Now, did I die on the elliptical? For sure. Orby did it with me.
How was it?
And I swear he was just chilling.
He looked like he was chilling. You looked like you were dying.
I was like, ah! No, yeah, he's a football player though, so you know.
But it's such a
hopefully-
simple interval, but it kills you.
My heart rate was at like 189.
Jesus.
I was like,
Oh my God.
woo, I'm gonna die.
Okay.
I'm gonna die.
That's pretty rough.
Okay, so for someone, like, let's say just someone comes up to you, no experience, maybe even in weightlifting, like, I want to do powerlifting. What are you gonna tell them?
Let's set a day and start training for it.
Okay,
The
just like,
biggest thing, the biggest, I guess, obstruction I have to overcome whenever I try to convince somebody to do powerlifting is I'm not strong enough. I'm gonna wait till I'm
wait,
strong
you
enough.
like convincing people to do it.
Yeah.
So you really just anybody.
Yeah, I don't care who you are. Do powerlifting. Anyone can do it, right? They have like team divisions, right? I mean, they have 14-year-old guys and girls doing powerlifting, and then you have 80-year-old people doing power. It's a community sport. Anyone can do it. All you got to do is be able to squat, bench, and deadlift. And then don't ever say you're not strong enough, because you're not competing against anybody. You're competing against you.
Yeah.
If you do a meet and you smash PRs, you just beat your old self.
You are. Yeah.
Exactly. That's
beautiful, man.
That's essentially what it is.
Beautiful. Okay, so right now, what are your specific goals? Like, you have Winter Games coming up, but like, I don't even know how you progress in powerlifting. Like, I don't know anything about that part.
So just like we do, every week for your program, I'm adding 2.5 to 5% across all your lifts.
Right.
You might stay at the same top single, but your volume work is slowly increasing over time. I mean, now we're decreasing it, but for the past 2 months, you've been pushing the weight, right?
Yeah.
So my goals, obviously Winter Games, I'm doing the open division for the first time. I was looking at something like.
Oh yeah, because you used to be in junior.
So my biggest goal is I qualified for junior nationals, but I'm not going to be a junior by the time nationals comes around, so I'm not eligible to do it anymore. So my short-term goal for the next 2 years is twofold. One, qualify for raw open nationals.
Okay.
And then two, the Texas state record for the squat for the 93 kilo weight class is 671 pounds. So my goal is to beat that. I really want to beat that.
Whew, sheesh.
So those are the two.
For the 93s.
So with other things and with the amount of volume Andy has me doing, I hate you, Andy, and that's my coach, I dropped like 20 pounds in 3 weeks.
Oh, so
I'm already a weight class lower than I was.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so I was.
Wait, so how much do you weigh?
Like 206.
Oh,
so
yeah,
205 is the cap for the 93.
Okay.
So I'll be dropped. Yeah.
Ah, well, okay.
So I'll be fine.
And what's your squat right now?
It's like 490 at the meet, 501 in training, but I got 2 years, so I should be able to do this.
Oh yeah. Cake.
Fingers crossed.
Okay.
But those are my short-term goals, and then obviously place at Winter Games.
So how do you do you have to just keep winning at certain meets? Because I know anyone.
So
can
it's just like any competition, right? You have your local meet, and then you have your regional meets. I think you have to place at a regional meet, and then you qualify for a national meet. But that's not always the case. 9 times out of 10, it's just numbers.
Okay.
You have whatever your total is for your weight class. If you hit this total, for nationals, you have qualifying totals, right? So for all the weight classes, if you hit this total, you automatically qualify for nationals.
Okay.
But hitting those totals is impossible. Almost not impossible, but there's a reason why nationals is for the elite. And why the average person is not going to be at nationals.
Okay.
If you're 200 pounds and under, your total is close to 1,900 pounds.
It's okay.
Yeah, 1,900.
Like Ash level.
Asher holds the Texas state record for the for my
Oh my god!
He was at Powerfest.
Well,
he got first place.
Yeah. Was that the record then?
No, he beat it the week after, 2 weeks after he did another meet in August, right? He posted on his Instagram. He got 781 pounds on squat, so he holds the Texas state record. Yeah, dude weighs 215, something like that.
So he's in
the 105s. That's what I competed in.
So but you're gonna try to
went up a weight class because he was bored in the 93s because he was just mopping the floor with everybody.
Oh my gosh. Okay, goals there. Well, jeez. Yeah. Okay, so those are you said 6, what was it?
671, that's the goal.
671 is the goal there, yeah, just do it. Okay, so just to kind of wrap it up here, what is your favorite quote? I'm going to do this with everyone because obviously my favorite quotes, well I have a couple, but my main thing is go be great.
Right.
So what is yours and why? And it can be for anything, but
So pretty much every aspect of life for me is a competition to an extent. So my favorite quote is by, I think his name is Maurice Crane. If you want to be first place, train as if you're in second.
Okay.
That's what I live by.
I like that. So if you want to be in first place, train as if you're in second. I like that. So even if you're in first place,
you still train like you're losing.
I like that. Okay. Awesome. What is your Instagram?
Sharizzle. I forgot to wear my shoes that have my Instagram handle on it. But
we'll add it in there.
At Sharizzle. That's my Instagram handle. Yep.
Okay, cool. Sharizzle. And then if anyone wants to reach out to you, do you want us to put your email on there too?
Nah, just Instagram.
Okay, just Instagram.
Just Instagram.
Sweet. All right. Well, that is it for today. That's Powerlifting 101 with my coach. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a great day. Go be great.